What's up, guys? This is the Crypto Newbie course, and I'm Mitchell Jaworski, also known as the Scaredy Cat Guide. And in this short little course, you're going to learn in just two modules what a blockchain is, what decentralized networks are, what a crypto wallet is, and then also what a seed phrase is, which is very important. So, run through the two modules and basically demystify crypto for yourself so you don't need to be afraid of it anymore. And then if you want to learn more, I do have other courses. I have a workshop coming up. I'll talk about that more at the end of the modules. In the meantime, jump in and learn what a blockchain is in module one and then go forward from there. We'll see you on the other side.
So for those of you guys that do not know much about crypto and what a blockchain is, I'm going to kind of touch base on these questions right here. These are the ones I hear the most. What is Bitcoin? What is a blockchain? What is a decentralized network? And obviously, always people are worried about getting hacked and all that good stuff. So we'll kind of put those worries to bay. So why a blockchain, right? What is a blockchain and why? Like, why does it make sense to use a blockchain? The simplicity of it is kind of the reason, in my opinion. So if you look at this diagram, you'll see it has, these three blocks labeled, right? And within these blocks, you're going to see what is a hash rate. So you see in block 0, it says hash in orange. That basically is the label slash designation for that block. And the hash is essentially what the miner discovers. So with Bitcoin miners, they basically get rewarded Bitcoin when they essentially solve an algorithmic puzzle like they have, and they basically get the winning block, so to speak. And in that, not only do they earn Bitcoin for mining that block, they also, quote unquote, produce that block and the transactions that are in it. And that's essentially how transactions get produced on Bitcoin. So this hash in block 0, you can see pushes forward, and you see in block 1, it says previous hash, and then block 1 has its own hash. So now that keeps moving forward. So when you go to block 2, the previous hash of block 1 also technically includes the information from block 0. So this is what makes the blockchain pretty cool, is that it is a complete ledger that is immutable, that has all the information from day one, and you can't change it. So it's not like, with a centralized, bookkeeping, let's say for, a financial organization, you can have shady accounting practices, you can cook the books, all that stuff, because you can essentially fudge things, go back and change things. You can't do that on a blockchain. So I always joke and say it's kind of the opposite of Vegas. What happens on the blockchain stays on the blockchain. So once you do a transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain, that transaction is forever done, forever there, and technically for anyone to see, because blockchains, if they're decentralized, are open ledger, open source. So you can literally go, and I'll show you on the next slide, to a website to literally get the Bitcoin blockchain code and literally run the blockchain on a computer if you wanted to. So that's the simple view of a blockchain, and essentially how it works, and really kind of what you need to know in terms of that functionality and how the data is secured. As far as it being verified, this is so if someone tried to create false transactions, let's say, or they tried to do what's called a double spend with Bitcoin, what happened is that those transactions, that block wouldn't be validated by all the other miners. The only way that someone could potentially pull that off is if they had more than 50% of the entire Bitcoin network, which I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's nearly impossible, because, you have over 10,000 people running nodes, and the computing power that you would need, alone doesn't exist right now. So who knows? Maybe one day Google can create some super extra quantum computer that can pull it off. But until then, not worried about it. So that goes into decentralized network. So I mentioned earlier this site GitHub. You can literally go to that address right there, and you can essentially download the Bitcoin ledger and run what is called a node. So this BitNode site is just a way that you can see how many active nodes are running. And last I looked, it was a little over 10,000. It's probably still somewhere in the tens, but it continues to grow usually as people try and mine. Although there are plenty of other cryptos to mine, and some are more profitable and less difficult to mine than Bitcoin. And that's all it is, a node. Like I said, computers and servers running the Bitcoin blockchain. And it's all over the world. So the globe is essentially the centralized point, as in all around the globe, people are running these nodes. If you think about Google, and I mentioned this, in past calls, they're able to give you a answer on your search in, basically fractions of a second, because they have servers all over the world. So no matter where you are, you put something into Google, you search, you get a result right away. This is the same thing, except for instead of it being Google, it is people like you and me essentially running our own little servers, so to speak. And that is how, everything continues to work and move forward and get processed and transactions done. And then, and the whole thing about decentralization is more so like a power to the people type thing, like taking more control over things and not being stuck to a centralized, sticking point, bottleneck, or control. And that's one of the things that crypto does. It gives you way more control over your money, which some people are scared of because they want that, backing of the FDIC and the government can bail me out and all that stuff. But then there's those who, basically are good and responsible with their money and want, control over it and don't want the government, telling them what they can do with it and docking them and whatnot.